Well, I left Elijah for a couple of days so that maybe you would like to look at that series on the Trinity that I recently did for the church in Zimbabwe. I loved working on the Trinity. I'd not done it before and found such blessing. I just encourage you perhaps to go back and look at those three talks on the Trinity. They're about 35 minutes each. I found real blessing doing it. Maybe you'll find blessing watching it. Coming back then to Elijah, I want to look at Carmel once more. Carmel was an extraordinary event. Elijah really though he's a prophet, almost took on the mantle of a priest. It says at the hour of the evening sacrifice. Now, of course, he was far from the temple. He's on Mount Carmel, he's not in Jerusalem, and the temple's being ignored. But the Bible records it was at the time of the evening sacrifice. So there's a sense in which he is taking that priestly role. And I'm fascinated that it says he took 12 stones. Now, this is after the prophets of Baal have done their thing. They've called on a God who can't answer prayer, a God who's effectively not really there, just the imagination of people. It's so tragic that people will come up with all kinds of things to devote themselves to, and there's nothing there. And that was demonstrated through Baal praying, or the prophets of Baal praying and nothing happening. And it says that Elijah took 12 stones. Now that kind of rings a bell, that 12 stones. It's like when Joshua crossed the Jordan, God said, now take 12 stones and set them up and make an altar. And it's like when your sons ask you, what was this all about? You can tell how God brought you through. God is a God of history. God is a God who has made a special relationship with his people. Of course, later you find about how the priests, they went into the presence of God with this breastplate on. And on the breastplate, there were 12 very precious stones. And they were of ruby, topaz, emerald, turquoise, sapphire, diamond, jacinth, agate, amethyst, beryl, onyx, jasper. It's like precious stones. And it's almost like God is saying, when you come before me as a priest, this is how I see my people, as precious. I've just written a book which will come out next month, God's Special Treasure. Israel was his treasure, his delight. He loved them so dearly and had history with them. He delivered them from Egypt. And as Elijah came before God, he's saying, Lord, I am coming at your word. I'm coming to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm coming to a God who has a relationship with his people of sheer love. And I'm calling upon you. Answer prayer. And immediately from heaven comes fire. It's like when Moses first built the tabernacle. It says they just finished the tabernacle and fire fell. The presence of God fell. God loves his people. Although they've become so backslidden, he was still for them. God has a special relationship with those that he calls and chooses and makes his own. And even when we drift, when we come back to him, he comes with such love and such mercy. They had lost their way, but just coming back to him, he was so quick to manifest his love to them and accept the sacrifice that was being made.